And we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mai Nguyen, and I am the moderator for today's live event. Today is a very special day because it marks the 10th anniversary of the National Voter Registration Day, and hence we picked this date to launch the campaign in Houston called Viet Vote Houston. Here with us today are the two ladies who are leaders of the two nonprofit organizations that spearhead this initiative. That's Dr. An Lan Nguyen, Executive Director of the Institute for Civic Education in Vietnam. And we also have Ms. Teresa Trinh, President of the Vietnamese Culture and Science Association. Hello, Dr. Nguyen, and hello, Ms. Trinh. Please say hello to our audience today and introduce yourself and your organization. Let's start with Dr. Nguyen.
Hello, Mai. Hello, Teresa, and hello to everyone who are just checking in with Facebook Live. My name is An Lan Nguyen, and it is such a great honor to be here today with Teresa Trinh from VCSA to kick off our Viet Vote Houston campaign. I am currently the Executive Director of the Institute for Civic Education in Vietnam, a nonprofit organization established by Dr. Chuong Nong in 2005. So one of the main missions of this organization is to provide civic education and to promote civic engagement in Vietnam, in the United States, and around the world. So in the past 17 years, we have delivered hundreds of courses, workshops, webinars, and online virtual events to serve thousands of students from Vietnam, US, Canada, and around the world. So we also specializing in developing some kind of online library for Vietnamese translated work, like Plato, Aristotle, Thomas Paine, John Locke, to name a few. We are very excited to bring our expertise and our passion on civic engagement to the city of Houston, Vietnamese community in the upcoming days.
Thank you, Dr. An Lan. And now, Teresa, please introduce yourself and say a few words about your organization.
Sure. My name is Teresa Trinh, and I'm president of the Vietnamese Culture and Science Association. You may know us from our many years of Lên Đường Youth Leadership Camp, or you may know us from our other activities such as the Youth Excellence Recognition Luncheon every August. And in recent years, during COVID, we've managed to ramp up our community health services and providing COVID testing and vaccinations. And VCSA is very honored to partner with icevn to bring about a new initiative for our organization, and that is civic education, in which we promote and help people get the word out to have people go vote.
Thank you, ladies. I have lots of questions for you today. Hope you're ready. Okay. I will start off with the first question is from both of you, and you can take turn answering, is why did you start this initiative? How and what made you start this project?
Okay, so I just start with a question to you guys, is that, do you know how big is the population of Vietnamese Americans in Houston? Any guess?
I would say a lot. We're a million?
Okay, so actually within the city of Houston, Harris County and Fort Bend County. So we just based on recent research from the Pew Research Center in 2019. And this official number might be less than the current number because it has been 2 years, right? And there's a lot throughout the pandemic. Yeah, hello, Newton. We saw Newton is just joined. That's wonderful. So basically, we are becoming the second largest Vietnamese population in the United States. So we actually equal to San Jose. The top is still Los Angeles, Orange County, but the second is now we equal to San Jose. So Houston became the second largest Vietnamese population in the United States. And here we have around 150,000, and that is the official number, right? But when you look at the number of Vietnamese Americans registered voters and also Vietnamese Americans registered voters who actually show up to the poll, the number is not that great. So that's about, the rate of a registered voter is only about 50%. And out of that 50%, we only have around 30% on the average for midterm elections like the upcoming election. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done, because if you want to get your voice heard, you probably have to register to vote. And that's the reason why we picked today's date, which is the National Voter Registration Day, to be the day when we launch this campaign. So we really need to improve. So we need to get our voice heard. As a whole Vietnamese community, we have lots of power, but we have not exercised that power.
For sure, that really does make sense. Thank you, Dr. Lanwin. And Teresa, what got you to get involved?
Well, as president of VCSA, I'm very passionate about getting the voice of the Vietnamese community more well known in mainstream society, whether it's through civic education or just volunteer efforts. And I feel that that's one of my biggest passions, is to have the Vietnamese community have a bigger voice. And so, and I believe that the greatest measure of our impact in the community is through our votes. And like Dr. Anh Lan just said, the number of actual people, Vietnamese people, going to the polls, voting, is so low in comparison to our percentage of the population that our community holds. And so that is why VCSA is very passionate in trying to not just register people to vote, but get people out to the polls so that they can vote, so that we can make a difference, and that we can show that the Vietnamese population here, we are large in number, and that equals to a lot of power for our community. And one thing I wanted to kind of emphasize is right now in the US, the politics tends to veer towards the national level. And what people need to understand is elections are happening at the local community level, at the state level, at the national level. And so when you vote, it's not just for the national politics that you see all over the national news. It has a lot to do with what you want for your individual community, down to your county, down to your precinct, down to your district. And so that's why we all need to really motivate each other, get each other to go out to vote, simply because we can make an impact in our Vietnamese community, but in our own little community that we have, our local community. And so it's very important that we motivate each other to band together to go make a voice. And, we all have different political opinions, and that's fine. That's the freedom of being in the US. But the freedom that comes with that is also the ability to make a difference through your votes.
I cannot agree more with Teresa on that point, right? We can be different in all, thinking, in all the perceptions of how the government has to be run. And we have been focused so much on the differences that we forgot together we have 150,000 votes that really matter. But because we tend to forget that, we focus so much on the differences. I vote Republican, I vote Democrats, or I'm independent. Whatever it is, your presence is so important to really make the difference for our own community. So if you have children that you care about, that you want your children have a better futures in this city, if you have you are a business owners that have a business and you want it to be thriving, you want to really make the economy better, then you all have to consider to go vote. If you have not registered, then register to vote. And even if you are not a citizen yet, right? I bet that you know someone who are already becoming citizen. Then talk to them. If they're not registered to vote, go vote. Because there is a saying that I really like, and I want to share with Teresa and Mai. The saying is like this: if you are not at the table, then you are on the menu. So do you want to be on the menu or you want to be at the table to make decision about the menu?
I'd like to add one more thing, is that the Vietnamese community in Houston really has no deterrence to going to vote. If you don't know this, that in Harris County, all election material is provided in Vietnamese. In
Yes.
addition, the organization that Dr. England is executive director of, icevn, has translated so many documents related to this election, including candidate bios, how to vote, instructions on voting. So we have all those resources available to the Vietnamese community. So there's really no excuse for our community not to have a bigger presence on election day.
That's right. Thank you, ladies. I can see it in and hear it in your voice, your passion on this topic. And you already kind of touched on it, but wanted to clearly ask. So then what is your vision for this campaign?
People can say that I'm a dreamer, but I always dream, right? Because from the dream, we create something from nothing. Let alone the fact that we already have a really robust and vibrant Vietnamese community here in Houston. So my vision is that how can we pull the whole community, regardless of religions, regardless of affiliation, regardless of whatever that you like, we are here. We are an American citizen, and we practice our right to really showcase the voice of the Vietnamese community here in Houston. So my vision is see all walks of life, all of us show up either early voting, voting by mail, or on the election day. That there will be a last of Nguyen, Tran, Do, all the last name of Vietnamese voters showing up in all the polls. So that's my vision and my dream.
Oh, that's amazing. That sounds wonderful. How about you, Teresa?
My vision for this program itself is really to, like I said, passionate about having a bigger voice, a bigger presence of the Vietnamese community in the city of Houston and surrounding areas, and that's why I think that this campaign of Vit Votes is so important. It allows us to, and people, you hear this all the time, get your foot in the door, but really this, as Dr. England said, it gives us a seat at the table, and that allows us to have so much more, I would dare say, influence over anything that happens in this city, whether it's crime, whether it's economics, whether it's the schools. You know that there are bonds and referendums out for Harris County and the city of Houston every election cycle. And so that's the important part of getting out to vote, is looking over those bonds and referendums and seeing what affects you and your community and your household the most. Because if you don't vote, then honestly, you don't have any right to complain.
Very well put. Thank you.
Another
So,
point to add.
yeah.
Another point would be, you know that for women in United States, we only get our right to vote in 1920. 1920. So it's not so far ago, right? So until 1920, women were still not allowed to go vote. So by throughout all the fights, all the hardship, all the struggles, all the effort, advocacy effort from countless people, that finally in 1920 they signed the amendment, as far as I remember, Amendment 15, to allow women, American women, to go vote. So as a result, now I'm as a woman, as a Vietnamese American woman, I'm allowed to vote. So actually, voting is a precious right that has been fought very hard for each of us to have that right today. So if we are an American citizen and we are like even a woman, we are a refugee, came for a long time, long way here, became a permanent resident and finally became citizen. There's a lot of effort in the past that we can arrive here. So practicing voting is a practice our right, and that is a precious right that we need to preserve.
That's correct. Thank you. Thank you, Auntie Lan. So as you can see earlier on the screen, we did show you some key dates for the election coming up. And so this campaign, it's going to be spanning over the next 6 weeks, I believe, right? And so if you guys can maybe let us know, what are some of the goals that the project that you want to achieve within the next 6 weeks?
Okay, so we have about five main goals. First one is voter education, like Teresa mentioned. We partner the icevn. We partner with the League of Women's Voter of Houston to translate about 160 full documents of all the candidates' stand, right, and name bios, and also how do they stand on different issues and things like that. And all of that will be published both in printing in English, but in Vietnamese, it will be published on a website that you can come and check it out. So that is in terms of voter education, we provide cultural sensitive and through a and we will share this information through a series of talk show, right? We will share information through the talk show, just like the one that we are doing now, but we will do it in Vietnamese at Viet TV and Viet radio station. And also, actually, Sir Teresa and I is going to show up on Friday, right, Teresa? Yeah, on Friday, we will have a talk show of the first of the five series of five talk shows discussing all about the election, how to show up, what's need to be done, and things like that. And also on Saigon Radio 900 AM, we also have another series of talk show called Civic Forum, Diễn đàn Công dân, and it will be touching all the story around election, how it come up and where to vote, how to vote and things like that. So we're very excited to bring that is one goal. The second is promote civic engagement in the young Vietnamese and young professionals in our community through a campaign, a contest for TikTok video and YouTube videos that Teresa is going to announce shortly. I'm very excited about this. How can you get all and everybody excited about voting and excited about the process of going to vote and things like that? And then we also reach out to all different groups. You know how many groups that we have in Houston, Vietnamese community groups? A lot, I know, but
20?
Huh? 20?
20, I think.
100?
100.
Wow, I didn't even know that. That's a lot.
And that includes all the civic clubs, right? Civic clubs, all the clubs like alumni clubs and things like that. So we have that many groups, right? So imagine how can we outreach to all of these groups that each group have their own identity. But how can we have all of these groups excited about voting and then have their own campaign to really bring out the votes? That would be so awesome. And that is one of the community outreach strategy that we have. And we want to also, throughout this effort, create the understanding and support for multiple different organizations in city of Houston. How can we can all work together for the common theme, which is increase the power of the voice of Vietnamese American community. So that's some of the goals. Teresa can add some.
So on
Sure.
the Vietnamese culture and science side, we are going to focus a lot of our efforts on the younger voters. And it's because if you realize nowadays, the young adults are more knowledgeable than ever on current events. And that's through social media campaigns, whether it's through Twitter or TikTok or even just YouTube. They are exposed to so much more. And so what VCSA is doing is we're going to leverage the fact that social media is such a big impact on the youth of today. And we are going to help to get the word out through those social media avenues. So we will have competitions among youth organizations as well as individual through YouTube videos and through TikTok campaigns. And so we will get into details on those campaigns a little more later on, but we will have incentives and awards for those that are able to get the word out, whether it's through likes or through follows or something like that. But the overall arching message of each of these social media campaigns is to get out and vote. And I think that the youth of today are really seeing the impact of politics, the elections, and how they can shape the future, and how your vote really matters. Just based on just the coverage of national politics at this point. You see it every day, everywhere you look, whether it's on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, even Instagram, and the Instagram stories and reels. It does have a a point and a focus of really highlighting all the politics. And so
Mhm.
I think that we can use that as a motivational factor in getting people out to vote in the Houston area, in Harris County, Fort Bend County, and the surrounding areas. And so if you are an organization, a youth-led organization, a college-level organization, even in your church communities, the temples around Houston, if you are interested in joining this campaign, please feel free to visit our website, www.vitvote.org. That way, you can participate, and there are some prizes involved. So you can earn money or earn a prize for your organization, whether it's through your church, your temple, through your school, through other civic organizations. Like Jaylan said, we have over 100 civic organizations in the city of Houston, and some of them are aimed at the younger adults. So please, please take advantage of this, get the word out, and participate in these campaigns that we have.
Awesome. Well, I already hear, Teresa, you're calling out for people to be involved already. And I was about to ask you, based on what you both share, seems like it's quite a lot of work ahead for you both. And so I would assume you would need a big team of volunteers. So, how are you planning to recruit these volunteers?
We have all kinds of different approaches, but the first step would be we will go with the network that we have, and Teresa can share with you how VCSA pulled together the Viet Cultural Fest with 700 volunteers within a couple of months. So I know that with partnering with VCSA would not be a problem because they already have their own network. But as far as we have been doing, we have been approaching a lot of religious organizations, and we're so happy to share with you that as of today's date, we have got the support from three most important Catholic churches in Houston: the Đức,
Our Lady of Lords.
Our Lady of
Our
Lords.
Lady of Lords. Yes.
And the second, maybe Teresa can say it better.
We have reached out to three of the largest Catholic parishes in the city of Houston. The first one is off of 290 in Fairbanks, and that is Our Lady of Lourdes. The second one is off of Westmont Houston 249 in Old Fulton in that area, and that is Our Lady of Lavang. And then the third one is on the southeast side of town near Hobby Airport, and that is the Vietnamese Martyrs Catholic Church. So those three churches have agreed to help us in getting the word out and motivating people to vote.
And also get their youth involved in the contest, right?
Mm.
And we are working on the Buddhist temples right now. We have not got the confirmation, but we believe that we will get the confirmation within a week. And beside that, the professional organization that have been partnering with us, like the health fair that the Vietnamese Nursing Professional Association put together on October 9, we already get some verbal of agreement that they would support this wholeheartedly. So the Vietnamese, we are right now reaching out to the Vietnamese Pharmacists Association, the Vietnamese Medical Professional Association, and also a lot of business owners. One of the business owners I want to acknowledge is Mr. Michael Dow, CPA. He's the first business owner that really wholeheartedly support this initiative. I believe that if I approach to all, so if you are a business owner and you listen to this, please contact us and support us by just getting the information out and make some easy for your employees to go to vote. Maybe encouragement or something you can work with us. And if each business owner agree to support, we will give you some T-shirts and just get the words out. And how can we together create a momentum for our community to really flexing the power of Viet Vote, and that is what we're excited about.
That's amazing. So yes, if you're listening, you can go to vietvotehouston.org, and there'll be information on there that you can reach out to these two ladies. But to continue on, so it seems like you have quite the team already ready to tackle all this work ahead. But can you share with us what have you done already so far?
Sure. So, like Dr. England said, that VCSA is really thankful that we have a strong network of volunteers. And those volunteers are mainly through our student associations, the Vietnamese Student Association was in the city of Houston, namely Rice University and the University of Houston. And we've been fortunate that those volunteers are very passionate about our work. And so we have assembled quite a number of volunteers that will help and make a presence at each one of the activities that we have coming up, whether it's through a church festival, through a health fair. And so we are very fortunate and we are ready to help out and make an impact on this program, Vitville Houston.
And we also on the radio side, we already started our first episode on Saigon Radio this past month. And Teresa and I are going to have our first episode in Vietnamese on Viet TV and Viet Radio. So basically, we have the Viet Radio, the Saigon radio station, Dr. Trương Nông and Mr. Lê Mộng Hùng, who's the host, and they're going to talk about Texas in overall, Texas voting, election, what election means, and also all the information about how to vote, where to vote, what is the important dates. And we even will invite some people from Harris Vote to come in and bring in the voting machine, because we have a new voting machine this year to demo. Because like I know that for a Vietnamese person who first time will vote, it will be very intimidating, right? Because there are all kinds of but luckily we have the ballot in Vietnamese. So that is the first step. You see, there's only 3 languages on the ballot for Harris County. The first language is English, second language is Spanish, and the third one is Vietnamese. How wonderful is that? Right? So at least you have that language is in Vietnamese, but the way that you will vote and you enter your ballot and how you scan it is a little bit new. So we will make sure we bring in the expert with the machine and doing a showcase on Viet TV on how to really promote, doing the ballot correctly. So we're very excited about that. So please make sure you tune in with, and all of these talk shows will be also published on our YouTube channel. Right now, we need more subscribers so that we can meet the first 100 subscribers. So if you listen to this, please put over to the Houston Viet Vote YouTube channel and register so that we can meet the requirement. So it's a lot of things that going on.
Yes. And you can sorry, I was going to say you can find the link to all of these our Facebook page as well as the YouTube right on the website. So just go to vietvoteshouston.org. And sorry, Teresa, you were saying.
Oh no, I was going to mention that also is that you can also follow us on Facebook, and so that you can have the link to the YouTubes.
Yeah, it's all linked together.
Yeah.
Yes, great. Okay, so we mentioned a little bit earlier about the National Voter Registration Day, and I'm not sure if everyone knows really what the significance of that. So maybe if you guys can share a little bit of the meaning of the day and, the celebration and what's special about it.
So the National Voter Registration Day was started in 2012. So actually this year is going to be a 10th anniversary. And in the last, and it is a day where all Americans are encouraged to register to vote. And the meaning is meaningful because it was some day that in mid-September or the third week of September, and in which we provide a lot of different opportunities for people to register to vote. And if you listen to this and you have not voted, you are more than encouraged to really participate in the voter registration. We have plenty of locations that we will be publishing a little bit later. And all of those locations like churches, like public libraries, like some even in the market, we have a partner organization called, this is the location that we have right now. And you can check in all of these locations at our partner organization, which is the League of Women Voters of Houston. So they are on the ground right now today as of this time at all of these locations, Northwest, Southwest, Northeast, area in order to help you to register to vote. So if you have not, please join us by register to vote. If you already registered to vote, but you know someone who have not registered to vote, please help us as well. All of these are happening right now. And if you want to do it by yourself and you don't have time to go, just go to Harris Votes and download the application, for voter registration, and then just fill it in and send it in through the mail. Then you will got your registered voting status before the election day.
And for those with family members who don't speak English or have difficulty speaking English, you can go to harrisvotes.org and click on Tiếng Viet, and it'll have the entire website in Vietnamese for you. You can download the voter registration application in Vietnamese, fill it out, and it's postage paid. All you have to do is fill it out, seal it, and drop it in the mailbox. You don't even have to pay for postage. It's already paid. So it's really, really very easy, very simple. And like I said earlier, there's really no excuse not to register to vote.
Yeah.
And how wonderful is that? That you even have a Vietnamese ballot, right? And Vietnamese application. Like not every city that has that kind of privilege. Only in Harris County that we have that privilege of having Vietnamese language in all of these documents, which I feel very proud of. However, we're proud of that, but we're not proud of the number of Vietnamese voters who showing up at the poll. So how can you, all of us here who listen to this presentation, can work with us, because we cannot do this alone. We need all the help that we possibly can get. So that it's not about us. It's not about Teresa or Enlon or the two organizations. It is about the voice of Vietnamese American citizens in this city. How can we increase that power by getting out and get to the voting poll?
Awesome. Well, you know what? I've been listening to you both share, and it's so wonderful to hear all these initiatives. And you touched based on how people can get involved and vote. But how about let's recap all of that step by step. So let's say if I'm a Vietnamese American voter in Houston, what are the steps right now for me to get involved? Let's just kind of give them some clear instructions.
Okay. So first, if you are a Vietnamese American citizen, like you already got your citizenship, but you have not registered to vote, today is a perfect day, right? Because it's a national voter. So go to Harris Vote. You just Google Harris Vote. And Harris Vote has, as Teresa mentioned, like you can click Vietnamese if you prefer Vietnamese, and then go to that and download the application to register to vote. Print it out, fill it in, and send in at the mail. Now, if you lazy said, I don't want to have a printer, I don't want to do anything with this, then go to all the location that we listed in the Women Voter League, the League of Women's Voter of Houston. There's a location, all the location here that, Jamie, can you put up the list of all the location? Here it is. So all of these are locations that you can go vote, either in all of these different locations, like Northeast, Northwest. You can go there, and they open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. today to welcome you to register to vote. And if you cannot do it today, that's okay. We're going to have a lot of drive. We can meet with you at the booth at Thu Yêu Thương Festival, which is the fall festival at Lavan Church on October 1st and October 2nd. We will have a booth of Viet Vote Houston there in the Northwest. In the Southwest, we will have a booth at the Health Fair on October 9th, where you can go to our booth and we will have some volunteers that register you to vote. Now, for you who already registered to vote, then please keep all of these dates as a reminder. First, the last time, if you really vote by mail, there's a deadline for voting by mail as well, right? And then you need to, there's a process of how to download all the mail ballot and get it out. The second would be the date of last day for register to vote is October 11th, right? And October 24th, we start to have early voting. Now, early voting is very easy. You just basically, can go vote in any location, voting polls that publish in the Harris Vote. And October 28th is the last day to apply for ballot by mail. So please take note all of that. And if some of your friends need help on how to apply for ballot by mail, feel free to call us, contact us, or any Harris Vote support people, because I understand that there's a very good support team from Harris Vote for the Vietnamese community. And then, of course, November 4th will be last day of early voting, and November 8th is our general election day. So all of these dates are important there to remember. But we will keep repeating all of this throughout our campaign. You will see this a lot. And this is part of the Grow the Circle effort, which is an initiative by Houston in Action, where they pull in all community organizations from different community of colors, and working together, we will make a difference for this city.
Great. Thank you. So now I know you guys mentioned earlier there's a lot of different campaigns, contests, and things like that. Can you share a little bit more if, beside being a voter and I want to get involved with what you're doing?
Sure. So, like I mentioned earlier, we will have a campaign where you can upload a TikTok video with the hashtag VietVoteHouston and the name of your organization. We know that we're trying to, we have been in contact with a lot of the Vietnamese student organizations or associations throughout the city of Houston, and they've pledged to participate. And then we've also reached out to the youth groups at churches, and they have also pledged to participate. So I believe that we have a really good network of participants in these competitions. But not only is it a group competition for the organizations, it is also an individual competition. So of those people that have submitted their videos and their TikToks, we will be selecting one individual, possibly two, depending on our prize availability, and one group, possibly two, to highlights the best the best method of getting out to vote, of getting the vote out, getting the word out. So those are some activities that we plan on doing within the college campuses and the church and the youth group. But also, we also have a pledge to vote. And the pledge to vote is actually, we have a little card that's also electronic. I don't have one with me, but on it, you just write your name and information on there, and it is your pledge to go vote. And, there is no way for us to monitor to see if you actually voted, but we feel that we have confidence in individuals when they fill out the pledge card that they are actually going to make the effort to go out there and to go vote. And we also hope that in return that they also motivate those around them to go vote, because you'll hear this term a lot, but there is strength in numbers. And we have the numbers in the Vietnamese community here in Houston. We just need to pull together and make it a strength of our community, is to get our voice out there and to go vote.
And if you listen to this talk right now, what you can do is you can text us. You can text 86183. The number is 86183. And you just text ICEVN, right? I repeat it again. If you can text, because you can just take your phone, right? And you text the number 86183 and you type ICEVN. And once you text that, it will ask you for the name and for your name and address and number or something like that, and then are you committed to vote? And you just say yes. So that is the one thing you can do right now, which is take out your phone, and I'm going to do it right now as well, because I'm committed to vote. So I just text to 86183.
You can see that. Can you see that clearly?
Huh?
I just did that, and that's the message I get. Can you see that?
Yeah. Is that
Easy.
cool? Right, very easy. And then they will ask, okay, what is your first name? Right, type in your first name. And then what is your last name? Type in your last name. Are you committed to vote this? Just say yes. And then they would ask, okay, what is your, I think they ask for your birthday because they want to see, how many
The
people.
age, right? Yes, that's what I've gotten so far.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And continue on like that. Then you, the last one would be click, and the first would be when you text, you make sure you text icevn, right? That is where Teresa will get into the message.
Yes.
Very simple, and everybody can do this, right? You just text that, and then you commit to vote. And that would be if you show it that way. Again, I repeat again, you text the word icevn to 86183. The word is icvn, and the text number is 86183.
There you go.
Yeah, and then you answer the question, and that's it. That is how easy it is to pledge to vote.
That's amazing. You know
Yes.
what? With all the technology that we have these days, there is really no excuse.
No, not-
It's right on your phone, right? Do it very simple. Text
yes.
that number, do this, and then pledge to vote. Then we will try to remind you to vote. But the key thing is, yeah, and this is the card. The card could be a little bit more detailed, like address and city, zip code, and things like that. But for the phone, it's very easy, the text one. So please do that for those who show up today. Please do that. We really appreciate your support.
Thank you. Okay, well, this time I am actually going to play the devil's advocate, meaning, I mean, if I'm listening to you both throughout the last 40 minutes, I know if I'm ready to vote and I want to vote, I've been explained everything. But what if I'm still not convinced? And what if I'm someone that feels, I don't know, I just don't think my voice is going to matter. I'm one person out of like 100,000. What does it matter if I forgot to vote or I don't go vote? I like to hear what you have to say, you both have to say to that.
I'll let you go first, Jinglan. Go, Lan.
So basically, my question to you, back to you, is that, is your family important?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to have more money, like more access to money, to your finances better?
Of course, yes.
Okay. Do you really want to see your loved ones, everybody, have more access to services that they need?
Yes.
Okay. And are you proud to be a Vietnamese in this country?
Yes.
Okay. So if you say yes to all of it, then you need to go vote, because actually every vote matters. I still remember there was one election not too long ago. There was a Vietnamese American running for a state representative position. And then the district has a lot of Vietnamese voters, right? And we and he was running against an incumbent that really like had been in the position for 20 years. So it's hard. But you know what? There was a good campaign, and actually there was, so he won, but only by about like 2,000 votes. And that is too small compared with such a big district. So the other candidate, he contests and he asked for a recount. They recount 3 times. It's still like he still had about 2,000 votes more. And finally, it went up to like the other state representative, that incumbent, he tried to change that. Result, and we ended up to have a few buses of all the voters go to Austin to really contest for that. And finally, it was successful. So imagine those 1,000 and 2,000 voters. If you don't have those Vietnamese voters who are showing up to support him, you will never have a Vietnamese American state representative in that level, right? So even you only have a small I mean, the population of Vietnamese community, among other, would not be significant. But again, each vote matter. So really, the consequence and everything, and not just that, regardless of how what party you vote for, but your showing up make a difference already, because basically they might not know who you vote for, but they know how many Vietnamese voters show up. We have that statistic given every year. And imagine if you are a politician, and if you look at the voting block that is so small, would you pay attention to that population?
No.
Probably not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you really want, and remember, it is your money. You paying tax dollar,
Mm-hmm.
right? You paying tax dollar every single day. And how people in the government using these tax dollars, actually it does really impact you.
Mm.
And again, the statement that I made before, like, if you're not at the table, then you are on the menu. It's your choice. Which choice you want to go? So that's my reasoning. Like, you can say that, okay, I'm not important, but remember, each vote matter. And just imagine if you have, like, each of us have a circle of friends, family. If you can get all the family excited about this showing up, so one lead to 10, and 10 people lead to 100, 100 people lead to 1,000, and before you know it, that is where the power of the Vietnamese American voters show up. And that is the I think the ambition and the passion and the hope that Teresa and I and all the volunteers in this campaign really have.
Okay, thank you. Well, now I'm at 99%. Let's hear what Teresa has to say.
Well, for me personally, I am the child of Vietnamese immigrants. So my parents left Vietnam in 1975 on a boat, pulled out on a barge, actually not even a boat, on a barge, pulled out to sea and set adrift, not knowing where they would go. And the whole purpose of that was for me, their child that hasn't even been born yet, for me to be able to get my education, for me to have freedom. And that's one thing that is really important to me, is to honor the sacrifices that my parents made in leaving their homeland to give me freedom to make my voice be heard, freedom to cast a vote for someone I believe is going to benefit me the most in power. And so I feel like by me casting a vote, that's me exercising a right that was given to me because of my parents' sacrifice to come here. And I feel like if I didn't vote, I would be doing a dishonor to all that my parents have done. And so I feel like it's very humbling to have the right to vote, because there's so many people across the world that don't have the right to vote, to have their voice be heard. And so I feel like by all of us banding together with our shared cultural history, with the hardships that our cultural heritage has gone through in order for us to be here in the US, I think it is a very motivating factor for all of us to participate in this election, for all of us to register to vote, for all of us to not just register, but actually go into the polls on election day, go place a ballot, so that our vote as a Vietnamese American can be registered, can be heard. And, you know, the Vietnamese Culture and Science Association, we have a lot of activities in which we invite politicians, local leaders, government leaders, and educators to come. And what I've noticed is that they are very passionate about speaking to the Vietnamese community, about speaking to the Vietnamese organizations. And I feel that they realize the impact of the Vietnamese voices in the community. They feel the impact of the Vietnamese votes in the community. So I encourage all of you to continue to make that impact, to continue to make our voice be heard. And like Dr. England stressed earlier, you know, our community in Houston rivals the community in San Jose. Well, to be honest, the Vietnamese community of Houston is the third largest Vietnamese community in the world, outside of Vietnam and outside of California. And so we have such a large number, such a large community. It is a shame if we are not able to make our voice heard through voting. So I really feel passionate about it. I really want the community to band together and to make our voice be heard, because there's no other way for our voice to be heard unless it's through the power of voting. So
Mm.
that's my
that is beautiful, Teresa.
Yes. Thank you. Both of you ladies made your point across, so changed my mind. But I understand that, as voters, there are a lot of, like, certain mindsets that, and sometimes it comes out because we're not informed, right? And we don't know better. But now that I'm listening to you both, and I assume if someone said, well, I don't even know which candidates to vote for, how can you help?
We have the voters guide, and again, we are a nonpartisan initiative, so we were not supposed to promote for any candidates. We are not advertising for any political candidates. But what we can do is that we partner with the League of Women Voters of Houston, to translate all. So basically, all the information about the candidates, who's running for what, and also what are their stance on the several issues. Some important issues, like I just noticed when I did the translation that there's a very interesting point, which is the bail bond. Have you heard about the bail bond policy? Yeah. So we didn't pay attention until we got some issue. And I have a friend, his son was shot. Okay. You heard that gun violence has been so prevalent in United States. So in Houston, it's not an exception. So his son was shot by a guy, and then he was so upset, and that guy was caught. But then, because of the bail bond things, within a couple of days he was out. And you're talking about someone who unstable outside. It caused the safety for the whole community. It's not just that guy, right? It's the whole community is at risk. So the father was so upset. He came in and he tried to understand who decide all of this bail bond, and who make the decision on who can be out on bail and things like that. And he realized that is all decided by a body that is appointed by as the district level, district court, or the county court. So all of these positions of the judges at this court all will be decided in this upcoming election. So actually, if you look closely, everything affects us. But it won't show until you get into the problems. And in my friend's case, I don't want it to be in that problem. But all kinds of different policies are decided by these people. So in order for you, so first step would be register to vote, right? And second, prepare yourself, because before the election day, you go to Harris Vote. They will have all of the information about how your ballot looks like and things like that. And then you go to the voters guide from the Women Voters League. There will be comprehensive information about each party, what each party stand, and things like that. So that would be inform yourself so that you can go to vote with confidence.
And I also wanted to mention that a lot of people have this preconception, I guess, or this thought that it's not a presidential election, my vote isn't going to matter. But even more so, it's important to vote during midterm elections, because that's when a lot of laws are bypassed or are passed and determined. Midterm elections vote for your state representatives, your senators, your counties, and your city officials and government officials. And that is the level where decisions are really made that affect us personally. So going out and voting in the midterm election is very, very important. So please don't bypass this midterm election simply because it's not a presidential election year. It is very important that you get out and vote, because these are the real issues that are affecting us. Like Dr. England said, crime, the bail bond situation, where bails are set very low even for repeat offenders. And that is affecting the crime statistics in the whole city. Well, do some research, find out why that's happening the way it is, find out the positions of different candidates on this issue, and then make an informed decision when you go out to vote. So I really encourage everybody to not just go to vote, but research the candidates that are involved in voting so you can make an informed decision. And, and I will say this, we are nonpartisan. So we hope that when you make your decisions that you vote also nonpartisan so that you can make the best informed choices for you and your family.
The most important point that I want to say, and I will say it again and again and again, is that we have the power within our community. We have the power to create a lot of changes, and we do not exercise it. Like, we could have that 100,000 voting block that all the politicians will listen to us, but we have not get that because of all the devices there. So instead, regardless, even you vote for this party or the other party or whichever candidates, your presence at the poll is so important. And you do it not just for you, you do it for your loved ones, for your children, because the future of of this country is really depends on all of these elections and your loved ones and your communities. So please join us. Please join us in this effort to really get everybody out to vote.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much. Oh, I love the passion in both of your energy and your voices. And because we dedicate an hour for our live session today, we are about to wrap things up soon. And so I know you mentioned a lot already, but we have a couple minutes left. Any last words before we say bye to everyone?
I just want to do some call to action. So the first step, we want a lot of volunteers. So can you email us or just go to Houston, vietvotehouston.org, and we have a contact information, the sign up button. Click on the sign up button and then just enter your information so we will reach out to you. We need all the volunteers as possible because all the business owners, and even you don't have the right to vote yet, like you are permanent resident, you not become a citizen yet, your loved ones, some of your friends still can vote, right? So you still can volunteer. And for some youth that is not even 18 years old yet, just sign up to become a volunteer because you are on the way to become a citizen, right? And for all the retirees, that you might have some time at home. Instead of watching movies only, why not going out, having some fun with us, and get people excited about going voting? So come and join us and help us to spread the words. If you are a business owner and would like to join the campaign, become an ambassador, please contact us. We're looking for a lot of Viet Vote Houston ambassador because this is for you. This is for our children and for the future of our community in the next 10 years.
Thank you, Dr. Nlan. How about you, Teresa?
I really wanted to push this, and I've been saying this for a long time, is that the Vietnamese community is Houston is such a large number. We need to show our strength in our numbers, the power that we have as a voting bloc, and that every voice matters, because we will end up, if we go and show the power of the numbers that we have, we will be able to have people come out and listen to us, listen to our concerns in the community, not just campaigning for their issues, but campaigning for our issues. What are our concerns? If our concerns is crime in the area, okay, they will do something about it. They will say, okay, this voting block, if I don't do something, they're not going to vote for me. So I want to do something to help the community. And that's what strength in numbers means. Having all of us band together to go vote, no matter who we vote for, they know that Vietnamese community is a powerful voting voice, and they will pay attention to our needs. And that's what's important, I think.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. So there you go. Houston, get ready. We all got to get out there and vote. So once again, everyone, thank you so much for watching our live session today. And we just want to say have a great day for the rest of your day, and tune in to our next sessions. We'll be sharing more on the Facebook page and on the website of future lives as well too. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Mai.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Nlan.